Aloha everyone from a very, very, very windy Maui. So windy in fact that it canceled my weekend plans. That's alright. We're here. We're going to make a video. We're going to go back to what the market did on Friday. As you can see, we continue to sell off, only selling off 0.35%. However, we closed near the low of day, as you can see here, and closed lower than where we opened on the NASDAQ with volume that was above average. So that's obviously not a good development. The Russell 2000 was up 0.40%, showing some relative strength, and there is a silver lining in all this. If we are starting to pull back and only are going to pull back, and the crowd gets a little too bearish on the short term, this is a great sign to see the Russell 2000 leading. However, if the Russell 2000 was leading by being up 0.40%, I then would have liked to have seen the NASDAQ, let's say, be up 0.02%, not down 0.35%. I'd be okay with the NASDAQ being down 0.35% today if the S&P 500 wasn't only down 0.28% and the Dow Jones Industrial Average wasn't only down 0.27%. So it almost appears more of a rotation of selling from Russell in early 2014 to NASDAQ now, kind of, instead of really leadership out of the Russell. However, I'm not going to be pulled one way or the other by this market, so I'll keep an an open mind about everything. I mean, there's still some speculative stocks out there. Look at IDRA. Look at this very tight consolidation pattern it's breaking over. You put your buy stop over the right above the recent highs, and the stock breaks out, and you got a very great long candidate. Same with GALT. You can see this one tightening up too. You can see volume declining as it tightens up. Same with IDRA. You see volume declining as it tightens up. So, whenever I see stocks like that, that still gives me hope that, hey, we may be able to rally higher here. However, after hours, ICPT was trending up nicely, and last time I checked on Friday, it was down to 390 after earnings. And another stock gave a nice signal, JSO. We're already long it, but it can't add to it because it has earnings coming up. So it isn't perfect out there by far, and it isn't ugly. But at least IDRA and Galt, there are two stocks in that hot biotech industry, and if we break out, these are two stocks you might want to watch. But whenever I see that, at the same time, I see this. So I got one stock that gave me a good long signal, but I'm not going to go long it just because it's too thin. And to be honest with you, I think it will do fine. It's not too thin, but look at the erratic trading on an arithmetic chart, lately. So this move right here, the base isn't long enough. This is only its really one, two, third day of moving sideways as it tries to build this new right side of this base pattern. So it's a little too early, but it'll probably work. So snack if you want to get long this stock. This is the best quality setup. And as you can see, it's a food stock. Not that exciting. On top of that, these utility stocks like Dominion, they're still showing up. Pocket pivot point buy signal. REIT stocks like SRC, that's a pretty big significant breakout. Not necessarily bull market moving stocks. So just something to keep in mind. But with the week closed in the NASDAQ, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more to my SQQQ position, 5%. So we have a 10% position in this one, about a 3% in the SRTY, and we're going to add 5% to SQQQQ. If it fails, the low day 52.64 is your first cut loss level. Then you could use the 50.66 or the 50.60 level here instead of using the ultimate 50.11 and 50.06 level of our very first long. But, this index looks like it wants to go. The VIX indexes look like they want to go. And I got a pocket pivot point signal in FAZ, which shows me that bank stocks, you look at Goldman Sachs, that doesn't look too healthy. Morgan Stanley looks like it wants to roll over. JP Morgan, Bank of America, those aren't super solid. And we have some partial sells. GOMO is closing below the 20-day moving average, so that's going to be a 25% sell. GWPH is closing below the 10-day moving average on above average volume. In a speculative weed stock that's going up on momentum, that's a sell signal. Probably should have sold it up here when we had a 38% gain, but we're still at least be leaving with about a 30% gain, so it's all good. But still, GWPH, since it's a spec stock, weed stock, 25% sell with that close below 10-day moving average. Also, BX with a close below 25-day moving average, another 25% sell, protecting the capital in case it does. We'll go ahead and roll over. And then GMed closing below the 10-day moving average on above average volume. Since it's still holding above the low day of that kind of secondary breakout day on 310, it's only going to be a 20% sell for me, but still, it is a sell. And then also Tesla closing below the 20-day moving average. First time since we've gone long, so even on below average volume with us being under neutral condition. Not sure which way the market wants to move. Rather be safe than sorry. I can always add back to Tesla if we break out here. So that's going to be a 25% sell. And then ICAD failed that secondary, and it already basically failed that first breakout above the 50-day moving average buy point. Secondary buy point, it has now failed, so ICAD is a 100% sell. And so as we go into Monday, I'm not sure what the market wants to do, but we are looking like we want to at least pull back, you know, to, I guess if I have to just do something sloppy here and connect these downtrend lines, kind of, you know, it feels like that we at least want to pull back to their minimum. So, you know, slightly below the 50-day moving average. But once we undercut the 50-day moving average, that might be the best area to find support, because obviously there will be a lot of people that will short that break below 50-day moving average, and it'll be right on that downtrend, uptrend line. So that'll be a good area for possible support in this market. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful upcoming week. Aloha.